Okay. As we've been doing our sort of ideation and designing and scribbling stuff down on paper, every now and then something kind of pops up and we go, "Ooh, that's a bit important.
Let's write that down."
Let's write that down and refer to that as we continue going through the design process, because we think it could be a good guiding post.
Absolutely.
Guideline, design principle, you may even say. So we've got about half a dozen of them now, and we thought it might be useful for us to just run through them quickly with you so you can get a sense of where our heads are at. These are all up on Flickr, so if you want to come and have a look in our Flickr group, you can find them and add any comments that you
They're all
have.
tagged with design principles, I think, are they?
They are
Yep.
all tagged with D7UX_principles. Here's the first one. So Drupal is very much about being able to customize, being able to kind of get it to do anything that you want it to do. And we definitely want to support that, but we also want to apply design over the top of that. We want to allow for customization, but not push all of the work to the end user. So as designers, we think that it's our job to take a stab at the best possible default setting, rather than just saying, here's everything, make of it what you will.
Yeah. The next one, if we need to do something to progress to the next step in the task, we should never have to go to a completely different place to do it. The experience should flow. So currently Drupal, if you go and change one config setting somewhere, you may have to go to somewhere completely different within the administration to change another setting in order for that thing that you first changed to work. You may have to do this half a dozen times, well maybe not half a dozen, but certainly 3 or 4 times. And it's completely confusing for a lot of people. So we think that you shouldn't never have to do that.
So this is kind of part of our task-based design approach, which is that we want to understand what tasks users want to do, and then we want to put the next step in that task in front of them, rather than going, okay, well that's that bit done, now go find
this,
go
do
find
this,
the next step,
and after that do something else.
Yeah. So all about understanding task flow and designing to fit that flow. Admin should look like an admin, website should look like a website. I should always know where I am and what I'm working with, and I should be able to switch between the two clearly and easily. So some content management systems take you completely away from your website and make you do all of your administration there, and that has advantages to it. Sites like Drupal tend to build the administration tools into the website itself, and that has advantages to it as well, but there's kind of distinct disadvantages to both of those things as well. And this is one of the areas that we really want to get right, which is not to abstract you completely away from your website, so to maintain the benefit that we have existing in the way that Drupal works, but to get rid of that confusion that people tend to have with all of the different navigation options and tool options that are built into the website. So to create more clarity around when I'm administering and when I'm actually looking at my website.
Yeah.
This is something that we saw a lot in the usability testing, didn't
absolutely.
we? Yeah,
absolutely. So this one's pretty straightforward again, right? You know, wherever possible, help people to make good design UX decisions as they build their site using Drupal. I mean, I may be right in thinking this, that a lot of that is to do with taking away some of the complexity of the admin tools and the configuration that they have to do, letting making the tool kind of get out of the way in some respects, and allowing them to focus on creating a good site structure or creating and enabling a beautiful theme, without having to get bogged down in little details.
Also maybe building in some kind of recommendations about what makes good design and good usability as well. So perhaps, and these are just like maybe we could do this, perhaps when people start creating 5th and 6th layers of navigation in their architecture, maybe there's a little point at which we go, you know, if you could keep that with less layers, it would be more useful. And
also, if you're you're editing if there's some config for your theme and there's a bit in there where you can change the line height of the type, if you try and put too much in, maybe there's a little thing that comes up saying, this might not be that good. to do that.
As you reach for your 6th font.
Yes, yeah.
Perhaps we could say, do you really, really want to do that? Anyway, so some of these are fairly basic, and some of these are kind of, I haven't seen them
No,
in content management systems.
no, I think it's a pretty cool opportunity, I think.
Yeah. This is kind of, this goes back to that task flow, task understanding, task analysis, and designing for tasks things. And to me, I think this is probably one of the most important ones, which is that we want to map Drupal to the user and not the user to Drupal. We don't want to change the way the Drupal works, necessarily. You guys are probably much better at working out technically which way Drupal should develop than we are. But we don't want the user to necessarily have to be troubled with that. The user has got their job that they need to do, and Drupal should sort of step up to the plate and let them do that.
Yeah.
The user shouldn't have to understand the technical architecture of Drupal and the way that Drupal works in order to do their job. We can create a sort of magic layer of user experience.
Yeah.
And that's kind of
Magic layer.
the magic layer.
So this is the last one. Yeah, this is a dream. This would be great. You should be able to get Drupal out of the box, go through the install process and do all the content creation tasks without going into the config settings tools section.
It's not about getting rid of config.
No, it is absolutely not. It's not about hampering the kind of developer experience of Drupal in any way. It's not about removing functionality or anything like that. It's about going back to some of our guiding principles in our experience strategy, which is one of them is privileging the content creator. And to do that, it would be great if you could get Drupal out of the box and you could go through it all and create content, create a site without having to spend 3 weeks messing around with config settings.
Yeah. Stuff that goes into sections called configs or settings or tools are often things that are scary for people who just want to add and edit content. So we would kind of like to keep that out of their way.
Yeah,
as much as
absolutely.
We possibly could.
Not hide it, but just keep it
out
of the way.
And that is our set of principles at the moment. That's my favourite one. I'm going to put that one back up.
I think that's the...
Yeah. It's possible that we'll come up with more as we go forward. We'd be interested to hear if you have any that you think that we should keep in mind as well, or any feedback on these ones. Okay.
Great.
Over and out.
That's it.